Greetings, everyone. This is Rocco Spot coming at you with Weekly Comic Book Roundup. And now we're going to move on to Cosmic Marvel and Miscellaneous Marvel. Yeah, this don't normally be last, but I figured it was kind of fitting in a weird way to do it this way. So, let's kick things off with Silver Surfer Black, number 4. So where we left off for in Silver Surfer Black, the Surfer had had been catapulted into the past, and was being chased by Null, the symbiote god, who Carnage is trying to resurrect, because that Carnage, Silver Surfer was assisted by Ego, the Living Planet, a young Ego. And Ego told him that there was something deep inside of him, he can't get to it. He can't seem to remove it, that it's hurting him. And so the Surfer traveled down into Ego's core, where he discovered Lifebringer 1, the incubator for the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus. Silver Surfer's on and off master, and the being who made Norrin Radd the Silver Surfer. So Surfer pulls it out of Ego, and he begins to think, what should I, Galactus has yet to be born. And so, if I were to just, say, chuck this into a sun, Galactus would never come to be. And I would save countless billions of lives doing this. And so he decides to do just that. Ego basically says, hey, I'll help you fight Null. Reach out to me and I'll be at your side. But as he's about to toss Lifebringer 1 into Helios Ra, the white dwarf star of the Apollo system, the Watcher stops him. And he goes on to explain that the Watcher's decreed that Galactus shall live, because there must always be a balance. And at this point in time, Uatu was not interfering, but rather Silver Surfer was interfering. So, it's not killing Galactus won't wipe the blood off of his hands. And so, Uatu suggests maybe you should talk to Galen Ata, the being who will become Galactus. And so he says, okay, yeah, maybe, okay, all right. And so Surfer tries to contact him through Lightbringer 1, and he does so. And there's things don't go as well as planned initially, but they do eventually have a chat. And Surfer says, "Hey, look, I'm here to kill you because you will become basically a living embodiment of death." The destroyer of worlds. And then he calls out Service, basically, yeah, you doing this is kind of doing the same thing I do. Or that you claim I will do. And he explains that, Surfer hopes to snuff out Galactus's life in order to prevent some sort of other horror. Kill the light to beat the dark. And Galen continues to explain, you cannot defeat the dark with darkness. And so Surfer pulls Lightbringer 1 out of the gravity well of Helios Ra, chucks it into space. And the darkness is overtaking him even further. And Ego basically connects the Surfer to all life in the universe. And he's now ready to to face Null. And that is where the issue comes to its close. Moving on to Gwenpool Strikes Back, number 2. So where we left off with Miss Poole, she kind of realized she has kind of basically she had put herself in she had a bit of a time loop adventure and involving potentially a massive Spider-Man and radiation poisoning, and yeah, you get the idea. All in the hopes of remaining relevant. So we open with Gwen addressing us, the readers, and explaining that for this issue, she's got a little bit of help. Who is that help, you ask? Why? None other than the merc with the mouth himself, Deadpool. And so first we get a little bit of a little bit of stuff, a little bit of, to basically look back and that maybe some future writer might utilize, because as she puts it, to the future Marvel writer who tries to hook Deadpool and Gwenpool up, because I know one of you persons is going to try it. You nasty. So they end up in the basement of four Yancey Street, the current home of the Fantastic Four. And so, because they figure, one, she's a flagrant cover image for the issue, so why not bang one or more members of Marvel's most endearing marriage? We also get a little bit about the end of her relationship with Quentin. And then Wade puts Gwen in Sue's wedding dress. And they look over their options. Downside of seducing Reed is that he's too tied to Sue. Downside of seducing Sue, she's too tied to Reed. Though it is suggested that, maybe Gwenpool could be the bisexual unicorn they've been looking for and seduce them both. Though Gwenpool quickly shoots that down, explaining that the editors will never allow such a disruption into an A-list superhero marriage. Downside of seducing Ben is he's married to Alicia, and Gwen doesn't know how it would even work, atomically. Or anatomically. For seducing Johnny, he's kind of ew. And then she actually ends up kissing Reed. The real deal. And then Sue shows up, and it's not going well. And Gwen kind of feels a little gross having done that, so she wants to just go home and cuddle with her land shark, Jeff. But the FF aren't done with them yet, so yeah. Get a bit of a fight between the FF and we get a bit of a fight between the FF, Gwenpool, and Deadpool. Does not go well for the pools. And so Reed wraps them up inside of him. Almost makes a crackable because of how things are wrapped up. And then Gwenpool explains to Deadpool what it was she did in her last issue. Which leads to Deadpool being not just disappointed, but Deadpool's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to kill you for that one. Trying to unmask my special boy Spidey? No. And that is where the issue comes to its close. Moving on to Punisher Kill Crew number 2. Where we left off, Punisher had already killed a tree monster, and had also gotten pictures from various orphans of the War of the Realms to see, the creatures that, orphaned them. As well as the, and of course, he would also basically add to the list after the Frost Giant he was already going after. So he appropriated a van, as well as one of the goats that pulls towards Chariot, and you still got a little bit of Black Bifrost as well. And so, Punisher makes his way to Svartalheim. Some Dark Elders sitting around a campfire. And, yeah, things are... They're kind of just like, hey, you know, it sucks we lost, but I'll be happy to never see another human for the rest of my days. Of course, Punisher comes along with a little encampment. Kills all but one of them. The one he leaves standing being Bailiff the Old Navigator, who is now Frank's prisoner. So he has Bailiff take them to Jotunheim. Turns out that there was a creature that was drawn by one of the kids. It looks like a shark bot, kind of. Turns out it's probably one of the genetic experiments of the high evolutionaries over on Counter Earth. So Frank says, "Hey, take me there before on the way to Jotunheim." So they arrive on Counter Earth. Frank makes his way through, explaining every monster on Counter Earth is gene junk. He goes on to say he should have done this a long time ago, fly out the solar system around Earth. Maybe he'll take a vacation one day and nuke Counter Earth from orbit. So he finds the shark bot, and turns out that the shark bot has itself a prisoner. Franklin Foggy Nelson, attorney at law. So Frank kills the shark bot, rescues rescues Foggy, and they continue on their way to Jotunheim. On their way from Counter Earth to Jotunheim, they actually do pass by Cosmic Ghost Riders. Kind of like, huh? What? And so, once they arrive on Jotunheim, turns out that Casikla, the frost giant, the particular frost giant that Frank's looking for, never returned to Jotunheim after the war. I mean, he's not one to miss a feast after all. It's explained that the feast they're talking about is some of the prisoners they took. So they continue on, and it turns out that one of their prisoners is none other than Cain Marco himself, the unstoppable juggernaut. Turns out that the Frost Giant Wizards want Crimson Gem Satorak. And that is where the issue comes to its end. Alrighty, moving on to Moon Knight Annual number 1. So, as I've mentioned before, with most of these Acts of Evil annuals, I don't necessarily think that it's the first annual for the character, but we're just going to go with it. So, our story begins in 2500 BC. and Egypt. Priestess well, maybe it's just a priest. A priest of some followers, worshippers of Khonshu have brought 3 items to his statue. A scarab which chews through the fabric of time, an ankh which grants the knowledge to control time, and a scepter which focuses time. And they consecrate those items to Khonshu, protector of travelers in the night, guardian of travelers through time, because only Khonshu should control such power. However, well, yeah, there's some that don't agree with that thought. Those would be the ancient Egyptian forces of none other than Kang the Conqueror. So, but yeah, Kang gets the drop on the followers of Khonshu, retreats his property, but not before one of them could be damaged with a moon shuriken. And so the 3 totems are lost in time. Fast forward to now. Moon Knight is narrating, explaining that every time he wakes up, he feels like he's walking into a nightmare. He remembers he remembers a different reality. There were other heroes who are now all gone, with hope. But he fights to hold on to what's right. So Moon Knight rescues some priests of Khonshu, and then Khonshu shows up to Moon Knight and says, tells him what's going on. Turns out that Kang kind of broke time. There are rifts, however, one can travel through, but no one knows where they're going to pop up and where they'll drop you. So Moon Knight happens to fall into one of the said rifts and comes out in Silver Gulch, Utah, 1874, where Kang is facing off with another Fist of Khonshu. This one wielding a pair of 6-shooters. And he's basically trying to retrieve the Ankh this time around. And the 2 Moon Knights, yeah, they don't succeed in stopping Kang. And the Old West one takes 3 bullets from his own gun. Whether or not Moon Knight then goes for another rift and ends up in 1945 Germany. Silver Company, led by yet another Moon Knight. Just trying to prevent Germany from utilizing the Scarab. They managed to pull it off. And while Kang does show up, Moon Knight manages to keep hold of the Scarab, which is now just shunting it through various points of time. Ancient Rome, 300 BC. Massachusetts, 1776. Chicago 1925, London 1896, North Atlantic 1710, the ruins of New York in 2134. However, it's in 2134 that Kang is able to retrieve the scarab and steps into time. Though Moon Knight follows, they duke it out, and they manage to they land in Mesopotamia, 4000 BC. They find the first priest of Khonshu, watching over the scepter. So, Kang, Moon Knight, and the priest of Khonshu, the priest fight, or the priestess. However, Moon Knight manages to grab hold of the scepter, and at least for a brief moment, summons forth the other Moon Knights. And so they all team up against Kang. But then the 3 totems are given to the priestess. And she fixes everything. And Moon Knight returns to his time, with things being how they're supposed to be. And while Moon Knight is lamenting his actions, Khonshu tells him, don't worry, the artifacts are protected. It's been ensured that neither Kang and the first of Khonshu's priests will never exist at the same instance ever again. And that's where the issue ends. Looks like we got at least one more Act of Evil annual, Wolverine, where he'll fight Morgan Le Fay. Now, I'll say this. I think I've probably brought it up with every other one of these. I think it's cool that they're revisiting the Acts of Vengeance concept. It's a neat concept. The problem is, I think it worked a lot better back in the day with, hey, all the villains actually deciding, hey, let's fight someone different. As opposed to, hero stumbles into a situation where they fight a different bad guy. It has made for some interesting reads, though. So, there is that. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.